When I made my first game with AI, I thought I was learning, but I wasn't. And now that I'm releasing my third one, I know exactly how beginners should actually use it. And it's not going to be the basic things that you've heard before, like, oh, use AI as a teacher. That's actually not what I'm going to teach you in this video, because those things aren't going to work. And let me tell you why. As a beginner, you should actually rarely use AI. And I know a lot of people are going to just click off because they want a quick dopamine, like, oh, write this AI prompt, whatever. But if you actually are like a beginner that actually wants to learn, you're going to listen to this right now. So why am I saying that beginners shouldn't use AI, or at least use AI a lot? And that's because to actually learn something, we can't just do the easiest thing that we can do. And you can probably imagine, like, what's the easiest thing to get things done in game development? Well, it's going to be to ask AI. And you can probably imagine, like, using AI like as a beginner in the wrong way. It's like asking your friend to do your homework for you. Like, sure, you'll get it done, but you didn't learn anything from that. And you can imagine you're doing this, like asking your friend to do your homework while you're in elementary school. Like, you're in first grade, you haven't learned like basic math. So you can probably understand my point about how stupid it is to actually use AI like the easiest possible thing that we can do, when we can't even do basic things ourselves. Like, I'm talking to you as a beginner right now. So to learn something, we actually need to use our brain, and it needs to have what we call a desirable difficulty. And that's something I preach a lot on this channel, because it's simply like the best way to learn, to have a desirable difficulty, something that's not too easy for you, where we are like doing AI, we're watching tutorials, we're just seeking guides, the step-by-step solution. That's like something that's too easy, but also it shouldn't be too hard that you're just sitting there like scratching yourself in the head and thinking like, how do I do this? Like, it should have a desirable difficulty. It should be like somewhere in the middle, like right here, maybe a little bit harder than the middle, because that forces your brain to think, and you actually like, you have a chance to get it done. So you both force yourself to think, like you're using your own brain, you aren't just getting the solution, as well as you're actually learning new things, because it's like kind of hard for you and you haven't done these things before. And even if you use AI and you ask it to be your teacher, like be my teacher and I want to learn this one specific thing, like, sure, it might do it for like one prompt, but the AI isn't made to be your teacher and restrict the information. It's going to be too easy for you anyway. Like, it's going to guide you through the process, and it's basically going to be a tutorial, like a glorified tutorial, which is not the best way to learn. So that's why I preach this, that when you are a beginner, you shouldn't use AI like a lot, maybe even at all. So if you're a beginner, you can kind of say the less AI you use, the better, because then you have more of this desirable difficulty, and it's not going to be like too easy for you. Because to learn something, we can't make it too easy, as I said before. But I actually think there are some use cases for beginners. Like, this doesn't apply to advanced, but we'll talk more about that later in the video. But for beginners, I think there actually are some useful use cases that you can use right now, where you actually get the benefit from using it. And this is basically where it's things that you shouldn't use time on yourself, or something that you can't use without AI, like something you can't do. I've written down 3 things. The first one is going to be simply because of efficiency, and it's going to be very quick questions. So it's not going to be like, how do I make this script? How do I do this? Like, it's just going to be very, very simple and extremely easy answers, basically. Something that you could find on Google, but you just like the efficiency of using the AI. Like, you could find the solution in Google, but you are just extracting the efficiency of using AI, because it's going to give you the answer immediately in like 2 seconds. So this can be things like, what's the syntax for like this specific thing? So if you're doing like a function and you know you have to like round a number or something very simple, how do I get the syntax for this mathf.round? What's the syntax for that? Very basic questions. Obviously don't overdo it, but if it's something that you don't know, or if it's like something that you just need in a moment, then I think this can be a very good use case. So the second use case is going to be code reviews. So once you have a system or a mechanic or whatever in place, you can ask the AI to review your code and review your system. So you can identify the flaws in the code, you can identify like the performance issues. Like, you might not need to focus on that as a beginner, but you might have like some extremely stupidly inefficient system that the AI can point out, and it's can say like, oh, this is horrible, you should not do this, you shouldn't have like an unbound while loop in your updates, whatever it might be. So you can paste your code in, you can ask it to give you feedback, and you can like explicitly say that you are a beginner. Like, it shouldn't be very picky about the things that it points out. It should like talk to you as a beginner, be very explicit and say that to it, and then paste your code or your system, whatever, and then tell it to review. The third use case, which is probably the most beneficial one for beginners, which can like screw you up a ton if you don't do it actually, I think this is very useful, is to ask it questions about architecture and design. So a prompt for that can be, for example, tell me in words, so not in code but in words, how do I design this player's script? And then you can paste in your mechanics, like the things you want. So you can say the player's mechanics, and I want the player to be able to jump. I want the player to be able to jump. I want it to be able to walk. I want it to be able to run. I want it to have stamina. I want it to have a health system. You can write down all these mechanics into the AI, and you can tell it to make an architecture around this player based on the mechanics that you want. So for example, it's going to say, well, you should have an event for this, and you should have like a script for the stamina, and you should have a script for the health, and you shouldn't like have them all in one. It's going to tell you that. And these are things that if you didn't do, it can screw you up a ton, because if you're, for example, making like a small prototype, if you're a beginner, and you just have all the player mechanics into one single script, and then you try to expand on that in your future, and it's just going to be horrible because your architecture was so horrible. And these are things that you aren't going to like, it's a skill in its own, you know, to learn the architecture, and I don't think you should like fully focus on learning the architecture like right now, because it's just something that an AI can help you a ton with. Like, you can just ask the AI, how should I design these systems? How should I like have the architecture in this prototype that I'm making? And it's going to give you like everything you need to know. So before we cover all the advanced use cases that you can use AI for, I just want to quickly cover that inside of SmartIndie, I've built a step-by-step guide for you to release your first game in only 60 days. If you are a beginner, I'm not going to tell you like specifically how you're going to make the game, like write this script or write this line of code, whatever. That's not what SmartIndie is all about. SmartIndie is the step-by-step blueprint for you to learn and release your first game. It has the focus on learning, so you're going to learn the most effective way. And within 60 days, I guarantee that you're going to have a fully released game. And as a quick promise, I'm going to tell you just right now, if you join SmartIndie with the link below, I'm going to personally beta test your game, so you can get feedback from an actual gamer that actually knows something about good games, how the game feels. And it's going to be much better than getting a review from your girlfriend or your mom, which haven't played any other game than like Block Blast or whatever that game is called in 10 years. So I think it's going to be a very, very good deal for you if you click the first link below. But either way, let's go over the advanced use cases for AI. This is going to be very interesting. So let me tell you, using AI as an advanced or intermediate developer is going to be vastly different from using it as a beginner. That's what I found. And that's all because when you are a beginner, your main focus shouldn't be to build something, but it should be to learn something, obviously. But once you are advanced, you don't need to learn all these things because you already know them. So you basically have a lot of skills that you could do in your own game, but the AI is just going to do it quicker or it's going to do it better. This is a very good rule of thumb. If you can do it, but the AI can do it quicker or better, then you can use the AI. If you can't do it, then you should probably learn to do it yourself, and you should do it yourself because that's how we learn. It's just that when you are a beginner, your focus should be to learn, and when you are advanced, your focus should be to just build something. So that's why using AI is going to be vastly different in these two scenarios. You also have just a lot more knowledge to prompt the AI and be critical of like the code it outputs. So for example, when the AI writes a script for you, or it like suggests or it has a pull request that you can review, you can actually be critical and you can think, well, this doesn't work, the AI did a mistake, and then you can like manually go in, you can manually change the things, like this is what I'm doing right now. You can get the pull request from the AI, you can just change the things about it, you can just see in the code itself that this doesn't work, which is something that you wouldn't be able to do as a beginner. So I also don't want you to make this mistake if you're a beginner watching this video and think, well, I'm advanced, so I can use AI, and then you just overuse AI. I'm telling you, you won't learn anything from that, which is like something you need to do. I was like that too. I over relied on AI because obviously it feels very easy, but you aren't going to learn anything in the end. So what I did, I was very self-conscious and I just stopped using AI. Like in the period between making my first and second game and my second and third game, in the periods between that, I just restricted myself to only code, like challenge myself, not use any tutorials, external resources at all. And that's where I actually learned like most of my programming, which is basically from just experimenting myself. I don't learn basically anything when I'm just using AI. So as I said, if you found this video useful, then you should join SmartIndie. It's going to be perfect for you. This is exactly what we teach inside of SmartIndie, like things just like this video. But either way, I want to say thank you for watching this entire video. Thank you so much for watching.